Okay, folks, this is a follow-up on the Jacqueline Craig story. For those of you who are not familiar with it, this was the mother who called the police because her white neighbor choked her son, and the police officer came on the scene. Instead of him arresting the neighbor for assault on her son, he decides that he's going to berate the mother on how she raised the son, and then decides to arrest her. But before he had made that decision, one of her daughters stepped in to try to push her mother back. The cop decides that he's going to arrest the mother and the daughter, who had not made any contact with him and who was trying to defuse the situation, and also the other daughter who was videotaping the situation on her phone. Now, supposedly this week we're supposed to find out what's going to go down as far as discipline on the officer is concerned. And as a further note, the white man who choked her 7-year-old son still has not been arrested. Here's the clip from the Roland Martin show on News One Now.
That was cell phone video, folks, that was shot before Christmas in Fort Worth, Texas, when a mother called the police officers after a neighbor grabbed her son. Well, when the cop came on the scene, he questioned and challenged the mother and how she raised her son, as opposed to the neighbor for grabbing her son. He eventually arrested the mother. Then one of the daughters was actually shooting video. One daughter is actually shooting video. Another daughter actually intervened to try to and actually pull her mother back when she confronted the police officer. The cop then arrests both of them. Well, this week we're going to actually find out whether this police officer is going to be disciplined. This actually was streamed live on Facebook and actually has millions of viewers. Now, the crazy part, again, that the woman called police to help them settle the incident, but she ends up being the one who was arrested. The woman, of course, is Jacqueline Craig. When the officer arrived, he began yelling at her and her 19-year-old daughter. Stunning story here. Folks, join us right now, the attorneys for the family, to talk about this case via Skype from Fort Worth. Attorneys S. Lee Merritt and Jasmine Crockett. They're representing the Craig family. I got to ask you, did anything ever happen to the neighbor who grabbed Craig's son? We saw in the Facebook Live video, the neighbor was standing right there. Did the officer ever question him, or did he ever get charged with assault or anything along those lines?
No, that's probably the most frustrating aspect about this case, is that they never brought charges about what the original call was about. The neighbor choking a 7-year-old because he thought he was raising in the yard. So no charges ever filed against him.
First of all, give us a sense how. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Right ahead.
No, I was just going to say, just to be clear, the law enforcement agency has interviewed various family members that were witnesses, and so I do anticipate that there will be an arrest, but at this point in time, there has not been an arrest.
First of all, how are the Craigs doing? I mean, it has to be shocking and stunning to call the police officers because your child was grabbed by a neighbor and you end up going to jail.
This happened on December 21st. We were really very close to the Christmas holiday. A lot of family was in town, and they had a student, one of their children, assaulted, and then to end up in jail with her two teenage daughters, or one teenage daughter, both teenage daughters arrested. It was really kind of devastating for the family, and now, ever since then, they've been dealing with the chaos that surrounds it, the effect on the family, all during the holiday season. So it's been a tough holiday for them.
And have you heard from the police chief? Because he also commented after this, and he did say that the officer was rude.
Yeah, so we actually have heard from the chief of police. I don't really know what to tell you, Roland. Obviously, we disagree with the assessment that it was rude instead of racist, but I personally never thought that he would come out and outright say that it was racism, even if there was some sort of racial epithet that was uttered. He would not come out as the chief of police and say that. So I do feel as if that was more so a political move. It may have been a bad move. He probably should have pivoted from that question instead of actually giving that response, because I think that he did more damage than help in that particular situation.
Now, when we had a chance to speak with the police chief, we discussed the other most frustrating part about this is that there's still charges pending against the family itself, charges for resisting arrest, charges for interference with public duty, charges that were clearly made up to justify an unlawful arrest. And they had an opportunity to show good faith to the community and withdraw those charges. 2 weeks later, they still haven't done that. So they haven't charged the neighbor, but they have charged the victim.
All right then. Now we certainly appreciate both of you, and we'll certainly keep us up to update what's happening in this case.
All right, and see, and that's what pisses a lot of people off. This has been 2 weeks. They seen all of the video, which you didn't see all of it from start to finish, but it is on a previous video I did on this. That goddamn coon-ass police chief knows damn well that those charges were bullshit, and they should have dropped those charges immediately. And at the same time, the neighbor who is accused of assaulting a 7-year-old kid, and according to the previous video, okay, the officer spoke to the neighbor first, and he admitted to choking the kid because the kid littered on his lawn. That guy is still rolling around out here, and it's 2 weeks, no charges filed thus far, even with the fact that this guy admitted that he did it. So I'm telling you, they have not released the address, okay? The address for this woman and her kids has not been released, because they know goddamn well that if that address is released, that neighbor is going to have a serious issue, and that Fort Worth Police Department is going to have a serious issue.